I saw this nice statistic when it comes to Algorand not too long ago, and even though nothing I say is financial advice, did you know that when it comes to Algorand themselves, they recently made a post saying how when it comes to the amount of smart contracts deployed, it was up around 31.5%, and they're referencing how this is in the month of January of 2026. So that's pretty impressive. Not to mention, we take a look at the monthly active accounts. It was up around 62.2%. Furthermore, they say transactions was up around 1.4%. Keep in mind, was ALGO, Algorand's native token, doing the best in the month of January? And also if we compare that to December of 2025. The answer is no, right? In the grand scheme of things, either in December and in January, it just wasn't doing the best. But still, if something increased when things are doing bad, let's say, for instance, increasing in terms of the amount of transactions, smart contracts deployed, monthly active accounts, that's pretty impressive given a time when the project and the space overall isn't doing the best. Now, I'll talk about the price of Algo very soon, but I'll talk about this real quick. Again, this is pretty impressive. Now, the Algorand Foundation started off this post by saying how January was a strong month for Algorand. In terms of the statistics, yes, but in terms of the charts, no, right? In terms of like the price of Algo, of course, it wasn't doing the best, but it could be viewed as in two ways. It's either glass half empty or glass half full, because the way to take a look at it is not glass half empty. I think about it as a glass half full type of situation because I'm looking to dollar cost average. Now, if I'm looking to exit, then of course I'm going to be very pessimistic when it comes to this, but I'm very optimistic because if I'm able to dollar cost average at lower points, yet I feel like the project seems to be doing pretty good, then yeah, I'd be very happy if that is the situation. It's like trying to buy shoes and then there's a discount, but then there's more features for the shoes than before. Would I complain? The answer is no. Because again, the features increased, or should I say in some cases, let's say the features just stayed the same, but there's even a discount. Yeah, I'll like it both ways. Either the features stayed the same, or if it improved a little bit, I'll still like it either way if there's a discount. But it has nothing to do with this, but I'm just saying. Overall, I just don't want to give up when it comes to Algorand. And also the way to take a look at it is this. Algo, it's now around 55 times lower than $5, in which case we take a look at, okay, it may not sound like a good thing, but if let's say Bitcoin as of right now was around 55 times lower than 100 grand, let's say that is hypothetically the case, which it clearly isn't in real life, but I'm saying, let's just say we assume that is hypothetically the case. Would the sentiment be negative for that to happen? Probably overall, but for the people who still believe in like Bitcoin, that would actually be like a very happy moment, arguably in some cases, in a hypothetical scenario. In which case, that mentality, okay, it applies to like an Ethereum to Bitcoin, but suddenly when it comes to Algorand, the mentality doesn't apply anymore. But I don't think about it that way. I feel like it still applies to me either way because I'm a fan of Algorand. I like the project. I like it as a layer one blockchain, and I see it arguably being kind of low, relatively speaking. Yeah, I'm going to be very happy for dollar cost averaging, even though nothing I say is financial advice again. However, it's not like I'm just randomly going all at once like that. No way. What I do is a dollar cost average once a month. That way, you know what, if things go lower maybe next month or, changes or whatever like that way I'm able to kind of even out the journey, right? Because sometimes I may dollar cost average up here or down here, but eventually if I just keep doing it once a month, again, I'm not telling anyone to do anything, this is just my personal perspective, but it just eventually kind of evens it out over the long run, right? And I've been dollar cost averaging into Algo for well over 2 years at this point, so, I just haven't given up personally. This is my mindset. And I don't plan to either because I just don't want to leave right now. I mean, I don't get why I would do that. Now, if I just leave for fun and all this, yeah, again, I don't know why I do that. It just makes kind of no sense because the space as of right now, in terms of the fear and greed index, it's supposedly at extreme fear. So again, what that indicates is probably a lot of people are very, averse to this space, right? They really don't want to enter. A lot of people are leaving. A lot of people are exiting, basically. But what happens usually? We see the charts go down for a lot of projects. So I do like, again, dollar cost averaging for that reason, right? Because preferably I'd like to be able to dollar cost average at a lower point. A lot of my friends out there, they're very kind of pessimistic when it comes to the space when it's slow, but then suddenly when the space is doing good, they're optimistic again. But we have to consider the journey along the way. If I'm only excited when everyone's excited and I'm leaving when everyone's leaving, I don't get the longevity in that for me. Because personally, who's happier right now holding Bitcoin? Someone who dollar cost averaged into Bitcoin when it was at $1, approximately, or when Bitcoin was at around 115 grand, let's say. I'd arguably say the one that was around $1, right? So the way you take a look at it is I'm not only going to enter when everyone's already entering. I want to still believe in it even when the times are not doing the best because, first of all, I don't think I've seen altcoin season during this cycle. And when the sentiment isn't doing the best, usually, again, the charts are low. That's when I like to dollar cost average. However, again, I never try to go all in like that. No way. What I do is I just keep it consistent dollar cost averaging once a month, but I like it the best, right? Or like it the most when things are arguably low. That's what I'm trying to say, basically. However, even besides that, Algorand, it doesn't lose out as a layer 1 blockchain in my opinion. It does have an aspect of ISO 20022, by the way. When it comes to just Algorand overall, people like to say that, people don't really care about Algorand having an aspect of ISO 20022. But they suddenly care when it's Stellar doing it, right? When it's Ripple, when it's XDC, they care. But suddenly when it comes to Algorand, it suddenly just becomes irrelevant. Personally, I don't think so, because if we take a look at ISO 20022, that's currently being used by many financial institutions for something called inter-organizational data exchange. So it's already being used. It's not like it's something that is, just a concept or something like that. It's literally already being used, right? And Algorand, it's not a project that's really known for global trade and finance, arguably. But if it's a diverse project in that way, why not? Right? It's like having a toolbox and having multiple tools in the box. Why is that a bad thing? Actually, I like it even more. So when it comes to Algorand overall, I'm still a fan. That's the way to take a look at it. And also, if we think about it, right, Algorand is supposedly carbon neutral. And if we take a look at it, a lot of AI nowadays supposedly uses a lot of energy, right? We take a look at a lot of enterprises out there talking about the energy consumption when it comes to their efforts trying to advance in the space of AI. And if we take a look at Algorand, supposedly carbon neutral, could that be sometimes an arguable, motivating factor for some developers out there, primarily that are focused on AI, to focus on Algorand? Maybe. Why not? That's the way to take a look at it, but we'll wait and see. However, still staying patient, haven't given up, and I'm still a fan. But I saw this statistic, so I wanted to talk about it. Of course, naturally, because the space isn't doing the best. A lot of people didn't talk about this, but I wanted to talk about it because I haven't forgotten about Algorand. I still like it, and I just don't want to give up. However, I want to say thank you for watching. I hope you all have a very nice day. It's been Lee the Captain. I'm out. Peace. Bye.